Hey everyone, it's Amanda with My Life, My Way. If you are catching up to me a little bit later and you couldn't catch us live, if you want to jump to the 2-minute mark, I promise not to put anything important there, but if you want to kind of click on, there's like 3 lines and a little plus sign in the top right hand corner of your screen. If you click that, you can actually see everybody saying hi to me. So, good morning everybody. Oh my goodness, it has been a really good week in EMS week. There's been a lot of stuff going on. And this week for EMS week, I actually didn't do a whole lot. Hi, Rebecca. I was actually working with my husband. We were getting a whole bunch of our front yard and our backyard all organized because it's finally warm enough we can get out there and start doing a bunch of gardening and stuff. So it's been a good week. It's been very, very busy around here. Hi, Brittany. Oh my goodness. How's everybody feeling today? You guys all up and online? I'm still in my morning coffee. I'm fully aware it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't just wake up. This is the first time I've had a chance for a cup of coffee yet. So, yeah. In honor of it being EMS week, I put on my I've Got Your Back shirt. This is a PTSD fundraiser out of Ontario, Canada. So it's sort of police, medics, and fire, and kind of everybody's in the same family kind of an idea. And then this is a really cute coffee mug my husband bought me for Christmas a couple years ago. Is that not adorable? Little EMS cup. This is actually the coffee I'm drinking out of it too. Look at that. It's my favorite coffee, by the way. They're a fundraiser out of Grand Prairie, Alberta for PTSD awareness and that kind of stuff. And they're fantastic. So. Oh my goodness. Coffee. All right. Sorry guys, if you, pretty much anybody that works shift work, coffee is pretty much life for us. So just enjoying my first cup of the day. So hi everybody. It's been a really long time since we did an update. The last time I talked to you guys, I believe is when I did my ultrasound, and I was kind of freaking out because I thought there was more stuff in there, is what it kind of looked like on the ultrasound. I could see my bladder and I could see another dark spot, and I thought it was my uterus, and I was kind of worried that, oh my goodness, we're going to have to go through something else again, because we did a D&C for this one for genetic testing. The results of that have come in, by the way, and I'll tell you guys about those in a minute here as well. And then we did the misoprostol, which did 0 things for me. I didn't even get anything more than, sorry, it's allergy season, by the way. Give me a second. Good times. But yeah, the misoprostol didn't do anything but give me some mild cramping for the first day and then 0 things for the second day. No bleeding, no cramping, no nothing. I was like, well, that was unfortunate. That didn't really go nearly as well as I thought that was going to for us, actually. So yeah, I did a second ultrasound about a week after the first one, and it would have been a few days after the misoprostol was done. And I did a round of blood work. And I got the phone calls back, actually, and our numbers had dropped from 490, so almost 500, to 190, which is really good. And the amount of stuff they saw was actually less, so they must have just had the, how close they were looking turned up a little bit too much. Or I was wildly looking at something that doesn't exist, because I'm not an ultrasound tech. That's not my deal. So the amount of stuff went down, and the numbers went down, but I didn't pass anything. So I don't know where it's going. The laughing joke I had with the girl on the phone is that my body's just eating it. But in reality, if it's a small amount of stuff, your body can actually reabsorb some, which it does do. And she was saying what little is left, I may just reabsorb, or it'll just pass with my next period. And they're still following me for ECG numbers and stuff. And last week my ECG number was down to, not ECG, HCG. Oh, it's gonna be a long day. My HCG number was down to 50. So, I mean, the numbers are still coming down. Hopefully they'll finish their way out and we'll be done with this miscarriage. We can kind of move on from here. The genetic results came in for the genetic testing they did on the baby, and basically what it said was there was not enough genetic material left over from the fetus, which is really unfortunate, that we went through all that and they still can't tell us anything. All they can tell me is that there was an there was a Y chromosome located. That's obviously foreign to me because I'm XX, right? So all they can tell me was that we lost a boy. That's all they can tell me. There is no information on whether there was any trisomies. There was no nothing. So my husband and I went back that afternoon, the day we found out of the results. We went back to the clinic and we dropped off we gave, I guess, new blood samples for the karyotyping. So we're waiting on those test results for both my husband and I. But according to our fertility specialist, it could take months for that to come back. So that sucks and is rather unfortunate. And we were really disappointed about that, but we've kind of like moved on a little bit. I'm starting to feel a little bit better after those results anyways, and ready to kind of just, I don't know, I guess enjoy life until we get the results back and figure out what to do next. We've decided not to go forward with any like fertility treatments until we get the results back, just because if the problem is an egg problem, I have no problems going to donor egg. We were going to go back to Prague, do donor egg over there, and see if we can get pregnant that way. And if it's a sperm issue, we're going to stay here, get referred out to the other clinic, and do donor sperm. Not a problem. Because my clinic doesn't do any IUI or IVF procedures anymore. They stopped that, I think, 2 years ago. They got shut down by the province, so that was unfortunate and crappy, but that's the way it is. We have no problems doing either way, just we need to know which direction to go in, because there's no point in wasting, I think it's like 11,000 Canadian to do donor egg in Europe, give or take a little bit, plus flights and hotels and everything else. We only got to be there for about 2 weeks, but we'll probably go for 3 just because it's Europe and you don't fly from Canada to spend a week there. That's not really a thing. Not if you can avoid it anyways. We have no problems doing that, and we'll fundraise the crap out of it, but if the sperm is our issue, then there's no point wasting all that money only to not have it work again, if that makes any kind of sense out of my head. So we're just kind of like putting everything on hold. We're just going to enjoy life for a little bit. And that's kind of where we're going to leave it at for right now. So I'm still going to keep updating you guys regularly because there's lots of stuff going on in our life that's not TTC related. And I know some of you guys want to know that information. So I'll probably still update you like once a week or so. If you guys still want me to. But I do need a little bit of help. So this last week was EMS week. And last year in early May, just before my birthday last year, the very first supervisor I ever had with the company I work with right now lost his life to PTSD and to depression. So it was kind of one of those like heart stopping moments. Like we all know that there's an epidemic right now in emergency response individuals between police, medics, fire, our communications people, our corrections officers, our first responders, like our volunteers, like community, and we're seeing a huge like upswing in suicide right now. And we all know it's a thing, but it's one of those moments when it really like actually hits home and gets really close, which up until that point it actually had not done so. And I think it was really shocking to everybody because he was so upbeat and so friendly and so happy all of the time. He was always like done up really nice. He was never disheveled looking. Like I sometimes in my day don't look half as good as he ever did. And I tried and he didn't. And so like we missed all those signs of things that kind of go wrong in people before they commit suicide because they just weren't there. So this week I'm actually going to make a soap just to kind of get people talking about depression and PTSD and talking about mental health disorders and kind of normalizing it a little bit. And a lot of you guys know, if you follow me or if you don't, I also suffer with depression. So I'm going to make a soap that is coffee scented. Yes, buddy. I keep saying coffee flavored. It's not flavored. Don't eat it. Not a Tide Pod. But I'm going to use this coffee in it, which is the True Heroes coffee. I actually sent them a message and asked if it'd be okay if I used their coffee grounds and if I talked about their coffee stuff while I was doing the video. And they were like all over that. They thought that was awesome. So I'm going to make a coffee scented soap that actually has real coffee in it and coffee grounds in it to like give you a little bit of an exfoliation going on. So that's kind of cool. But I need a name for the coffee. I'm like at a dead stop. Like True Heroes is the name of the coffee and I love this name. But I obviously don't want to repeat it directly into the soap so that, like I'm not just stealing their name and going off their name brand. I want something different, but I'm sort of like stuck. What else do you call it? I'm not really sure. So I need your guys' like mental capacity because I'm out. I don't know what to call it. I like the don't eat it Tide Pods aren't soap sign. That was brilliant. I don't know if you guys just saw the hashtag that just got put up, but that was brilliant. That kind of just made my entire day. That's why I had to dead stop and read for a second. But I don't know what to call it. So I don't know if we want to call it like Let's Talk or Coffee Talk or something. It doesn't have to be like EMS related. It doesn't even have to be emergency service related, although I'd like it to be. But it should be something along the lines of like talking about mental health and normalizing that level of things that we've just never talked about before. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I think that's almost all I have today. Would you guys like to see the work we've been doing outside? I don't know if you want me to show you or not. Here, let's go for a walk. You guys want to go for a walk through my house? Hold on for a second. It's going to be a little weird for a second, okay? Hold on. This is the door to my bathroom. Okay. Hold on. We're going to walk through my house. Sorry about the really weird lighting as we move through the home. There's my dog. Hey, buddy. Relaxing on the couch like he does all of the time. That's pretty much like his space right there. He's a German Shepherd Akita mix. He's like 110 pounds. Ooh, it is bright outside. I'm like glow in the dark right now. This is brilliant. So last year we did some work on the flowers and I showed you guys. This year it looks a little bit different. We actually dug out. So this is what existed last year. This little section here. We took out a tree from over here and another like tree from over here. They were like those weird fern things. And we took them out because they were pretty much dying anyways. So we've replaced them actually with little rose bushes. So I have a little one right here. And it's a campfire rose bush, which means it's like orange on the inside and red on the outside. And then we're going to put another couple of little plants that we picked up to kind of match up those colors. And then these are my irises that are coming up that my next door neighbor actually planted. I had nothing to do with that. And I have a couple of like, I don't know if you can see this. I have a couple of lilies right here coming up too. I also didn't plant those. Those were also my next door neighbor. And I have a peony coming up. Can you see that? I also didn't plant that. That was also not my gig. Also my next door neighbor. She takes good care of me and my husband. It's amazing stuff. Hold on. Let me brighten this up for myself so I can actually see what I'm pointing at. And then back in the corner of our house, this also used to exist, but we put in annuals last year, and this year we decided to do some perennials and get some work done back here. So these ones, this tall one in the back, this one right here, and then this little one on the corner, they're all bleeding hearts. So you can kind of like see them. Hold on. These little guys. So we have them a couple different colors. They're pink in the back and then white and then red. And then these guys, this little dark bush here, shows to come up like, I don't know, they're weird little pink flowers. I'm not really sure. We have a couple of different versions of them with different colors in them, so I'm not even sure which one went into which place anymore. And then I have these little creepers to kind of like take up the early stuff. This is not mine. It's my next door neighbor's like discard pile from earlier. So all we have to do now is like ring the rest of it in those creepers. And then these, if I can get the camera angle, these two are actually more of the flowers we planted back there. So that's kind of fun. So we're gonna get that moving. And then I have a couple more flowers we picked up the other day. So we weren't sure how many we were gonna need. Whoa. Sorry about the really fantastic angle. I'm sure that one just wasn't my face. As I open up my fans. But we picked up a few more flowers. So these are, this is a filler thing, and then this is I actually have no idea. Which one is this? Oh yeah, no, that's my stargazer lily. So I'm gonna put that up. Those are the rest of the creepers we needed. And then a couple more lilies. I love lilies. They're like one of my favorite flowers, and they come back every year, and they're relatively hard to kill up here, so that's kind of nice. Which is why ones are coming up in my front yard that I did not plant. So I had nothing to do with that. Zero things. And then this is my backyard behind me. So this is the new gazebo we bought this year. A couple years ago, if you guys were watching, we put up a brand new gazebo 3 years ago. And it was black and it had a material canvas and that kind of stuff. And then at the end of last summer, it started collecting a little bit of water, and I knew it was not a big deal, or at least I didn't think so. And then I went to go visit my husband, And while I was away, I like Brain Awaken. While I was away visiting my husband for a round of TTC stuff, we got a bunch of rain and it collapsed the entire roof. And I phoned back the company and I said, like we collapsed a couple things. I need a couple new parts. And they said, oh yeah, no, we do new parts, not a big deal. So we looked at the parts and they're like, well, we're missing a couple. So you could spend like $200. We'll mail you out the parts that we have. And then you have to keep calling back every month to find out if we ever get the new parts back in, which they may not get all summer, according to this guy I was talking to. I was like, well, like that's not really great. That kind of sucks. So we called up Costco because Costco's pretty much sells everything. And this is actually Costco's gazebo. This is who built this. Well, we built it, but this is their gazebo. I'm gonna take you for a little walk. We'll go see it. It's actually made out of cedar and it has an aluminum roof, so it won't fall down, which is really nice. And then all the same, hey Felicia, all the same furniture from last year. And then I'd like to point out that I was the guy that held this up while they were waiting, because it comes in like 4 big sections. So my husband and I put the 4 big sections together and we did all the little work we could until we got friends over to help put up the big sections. And we only had 2 guys and a girlfriend of mine who's a lot shorter than me. So I got voted in as the guy that holds this peak right up here as you're putting in the sections, because you have to lift in 3 sections and bolt them together really quick before you can let go of the top. Ooh, dude, girls were not meant for holding that kind of upper body strength. Like that is not a thing. So, but yeah, that's pretty much everything we got going these days. I still have my planters. I attempted planting actual seeds in them. I don't think it's going to go well. But I tried. I put in an honest effort. I think that's going to be about it. But if it doesn't grow back in like the next 2 weeks, I'll just go buy some like petunias or something to fill in that space. Just what looks nice. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's my backyard. That's kind of what we've been up to for the last like week and a bit while my husband's been home. And yeah, we're going to just kind of sit here and enjoy and that kind of stuff. This thing right here that's next to me is actually a pergola. That's from my sister's wedding, and it is still hers. It's not ours by any means. But she doesn't have a yard to put it in. So she lives in a condo right now. So while they're building or getting money to get a house, I told her that she could store the pergola in my yard and we'll put it up and she can come in and hang out. She comes over to my place pretty regularly. We hang out in the backyard all the time. So yeah, so we're going to put her pergola up, I think this weekend or next weekend. Her friend needs to come over and build it for us because he's the guy that has the skills and knows how all the pieces go together, because I have no idea. It does not come with instructions, and therefore I don't know the things. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This should be our backyard for the summer. And other than like constantly watering it and making sure that the dog doesn't destroy it. He likes to dig a little bit. He has 2 dig holes now going in the backyard. He only had 1 last year. He has 2 this year. But he's 10. You're not going to teach him anything new now, so I just keep filling back in the hole. But yeah, that's pretty much her. So yeah, I think I'm going to let you guys go. I think that's all I have. So unless anybody has like questions or comments or concerns or anything along those lines, we redo blood work this Thursday coming up. I did not do blood work last Thursday, so the 50 number was from 2 weeks ago, so I'm just kind of waiting to see if my period starts by itself. I'm kind of hoping it does. And then that's going to be about it. We're just kind of like holding out and just waiting for the numbers to drop down to 0 and kind of live life for a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. So if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to post them in the comments as well, and I try to get back to you guys. I've been really bad about it for like the last like 2 weeks, so I'm super sorry, but I will get back to them. I'm actually doing a volunteer event tonight, which will be a lot of fun. It's actually at a roller derby event for one of the female roller derby groups in the city. They are brutal. Dude, if you ever need a way to like get out some aggression and you need a way that you can kind of like subtly beat somebody up and it's still okay by the rules, join roller derby. Stuff is vicious. But I volunteer with St. John Ambulance, so I'm going to go down there as a volunteer first aider, and we'll go hang out, watch the roller derby, and if anybody gets hurt, we'll jump in. It's actually not usual that somebody gets hurt enough more than just like some bumps and bruises. Pretty rare. It does happen. That's why we're on site, just kind of as an in case kind of a deal. So that's kind of tonight's plan. And then this weekend, I don't know, I'm going to get the rest of these flowers planted so that my front yard looks more complete and they're not just sitting in boxes on top of my barbecue. So we'll get that going. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. I'm going to make some soap if it cools down enough in the evenings. It's 25 degrees out right now during the daytime. It is hot out. Hi, Kathy. It's finally cleared off. I was going to do a video the other day, but I was worried if I stepped out, you guys would think I was in an episode of one of those End of Days movies. There is some massive wildfires going on in northern Alberta right now, which is really unfortunate. It happens usually every 2 or 3 years. We go through a pretty horrific cycle of having some really bad forest fires. But the winds changed yesterday, and one of the ones actually sent smoke over top of us, and it turned everything to an orangey haze where you couldn't see more than down the block. It was pretty crazy. It looked really, really bizarre out. Really crazy. The winds have shifted again, so now we've got nice blue skies again, but the fires are still raging. There's a pretty big one out by Athabasca. They're evacuating Slave Lake. Yeah, pretty wild. I don't know if any of them are as big as the Fort McMurray fire. I know not as many people have been evacuated as in Fort McMurray, because that was a city of 80,000 people that had to be evacuated within 3 hours, and they did it with nobody dying. It was amazing. The only fatality they had was that somebody made a bad choice on a road and tried to get ahead of the line of people in front of them, and they met an oncoming vehicle, which is really unfortunate, but completely unrelated to the actual evacuation itself. But I know High Level's been evacuated. There's 5,000 people involved with that one, so it's pretty wild up here. I'm on call right now for St. John Ambulance so that if they set up the evacuation centers here, I may end up going to fill in a shift to be a first aider for them as well, just to make sure that everybody coming in is okay and that they continue to be okay as they're sitting in the evacuation centers. And we're on call 24/7 for that, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it's kind of wild right now. Yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind taking a moment to think about what you would call a coffee scented soap dedicated to your emergency services in your area, and then throw me a message down below, and we'll see if we come up with a good name. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go so you can go home for the day and enjoy this beautiful weekend. Hopefully it's just as beautiful where you are as it is where we are, and hopefully we get some good solid rain this weekend because we could really use it. But yeah, I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.